Welcome to Module 1. In this module, we'll discuss the evolution of palliative care, what's the meaning of palliative care, what's the meaning of hospice, and what's the meaning of end of life. As one of my colleagues always says, it's best to start with the end in mind. My interpretation of that is, if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? So let's start with the end in mind with each module. There are two assignments in this module. First, a discussion board where you discuss with each other what you think is meant by the end of life. Several terms are often used synonymously: end of life, palliative care, hospice care. What do they really mean? And there's also a QSGA, a question and study guide assignment here. Well, you will create two quiz questions to be considered for inclusion on the first quiz that focus on these three areas: topics from your readings in Chapter 1 and 2, the history and background of palliative care, there's a concept article to read for that, and hospice care facts and figures. I suggest you go through the learning materials in this order. First, read Chapter 1 in the text. The chapters in this book may seem long, but they're not. They're fairly straightforward and easy to read. Then watch the video, What is Palliative Care? That's a medical director of a hospice discussing what palliative care is. Then read the article by Megani. It's a concept analysis on palliative care, but in the introductory section, they discuss sort of the evolution of palliative care in the United States. After that, read Chapter 2, watch the videos inside the What is Hospice Care folder, and then leaf through the document called Hospice Care Facts and Figures. That document is long. You're not expected to read it cover through cover, but go through there and make sure you're familiar with the facts and figures that are in there. You may see some eye-openers that you weren't expecting. All of these activities should prepare you to write your QSGA assignment. And remember, as you're going through the learning activities, be active. Take notes, keep a diary, whatever. Just make sure that you're actively learning the material. But you don't have to stop and do the QSGA. You can certainly continue going through the learning materials. In fact, that may help you put your QSGA questions in perspective. Go through the rest of the learning materials. I again suggest this order. Read the blog about end of life. Look through the patient family teaching sheet that's in the folder that says What About Death and Dying? That does discuss about the actual dying process. Watch the interview with Dame Cicely Saunders. She's the founder of the modern hospice movement. And think about, is she talking about hospice? Is she talking about palliative care? Is she talking about the end of life? Is she talking about all three? So these, in combination with all the other readings, should prepare you for your discussion board, which is about the end of life. Remember to read and understand the assignment instructions and have the rubrics in front of you when you're working on them. For all your written work, including the QSGAs, be sure to turn them into both links: the Blackboard link, which has a pencil and ruler sort of icon, and the Turn It In link, which has a sort of piece of paper with a red swirl icon. And use the Ask a Question discussion area if you have questions about course content, how to do things, and so forth. And remember to subscribe to that forum. Also, be sure to time your learning activities so that you can do your discussion board posts in a timely manner. There are 2 rounds of posts in the discussion board, one where you post your response to the initial prompt, and then another where you respond to your peers and colleagues in the discussion board. And those happen at different times. So be sure to time your learning activities to enable you to make a good first post, as well as a thoughtful and scholarly response to your peers.